Tonight, an international seafood exporter on the hunt for local Southern Rock lobster. And police pleased with revellers as thousands pack Whyalla for a dance music festival.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. First tonight, firefighters have battled a blaze at the Whyalla Steelworks this afternoon. Crews were called to the scene around 2 o'clock after reports of a blaze at the facility. It's understood the fire was started on a conveyor belt in a section of the coke ovens near the blast furnace. Workers were evacuated from the scene. A major international seafood exporter is on the hunt for more Southern Rock lobster and it's searching near Port Lincoln's waters. The Mount Gambier-based company is looking to pair up with local fishers to keep up with demand from Asian markets.
Local lobster in high demand. Best Oceania Seafood is a major exporter of Australia's live Southern Rock lobster to Asia, and it's on the hunt in Port Lincoln.
We're giving fishermen an opportunity to drop their catches in Kings Coast or in Vivon Bay on Kangaroo Island so that they can spend longer in the fishing zone rather than having to sail back to Port Lincoln.
Last year, the company exported 450 tonnes of live lobster into major Chinese cities. After a bumper season reaching quotas in the southern zone around Mount Gambier and Victoria, the company has opened up shop on Kangaroo Island to tap into the northern zone.
So essentially, the market's still got an appetite for our wonderful product, and so therefore we're looking to extend our procurement into other zones, and the northern zone seems to be quite flush with more product.
Mr Brady says Port Lincoln fishers have been keen to jump on board.
I think they welcome the fact that we've moved into the northern zone.
The strong demand from the Asian market is to do with the taste, colour and the range of size grades Australia produces.
So our story, our lobsters come from the pristine waters of the Southern Ocean. I think there's a romance attached to our product that I think very few other regions of the world have.
Casey Treloar, Southern Cross News.
The first ever Hidden Festival in Whyalla has been declared a success with over 1,000 revellers enjoying a night of music and dance. Whyalla police have also praised the behaviour of the crowd, with officers acting on only a few minor incidents.
A big clean-up after a big night. Just 48 hours beforehand, young and old enjoyed the first ever Hidden Festival.
I don't think they missed the beat this year, so I hope it was a good time.
I've spoken to so many kids that were here and everyone just enjoyed it. I'm asking for all the negative stuff and I'm getting more positive than negative. I want to build on it.
Police were out in force, ready for any signs of trouble. However, Inspector Mark Hubbard said officers were kept pretty quiet.
One person was reported for a minor assault and a second person was arrested for attempting to re-enter after he'd been taken out of the venue.
He's praised music goers for their behaviour.
I think it was a success. People seemed to have a good time and they did it pretty safely.
1,200 people from across SA were on hand as some of the country's best DJs performed, with many of the acts themselves enjoying the trip.
I spoke to the agencies and they were so ecstatic. They expected to see a semi-trailer with a DJ on it. We put a proper stage in.
Organisers say they'll take stock before deciding on when they next return.
We want to make sure every time it's something different and they don't get used to it.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
A 24-year-old man from the mid-north has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of possessing child exploitation material. It's alleged that one of the counts is aggravated, with the material depicting children under the age of 14. He was refused bail and appeared in the Port Pirie Magistrates Court on Friday. Anyone with information about people involved in child exploitation is urged to call Crime Stoppers. The Barunga West Council is seeking feedback from the public on whether to include a $300,000 bike lane upgrade in its next budget. Council's hoping the proposed upgrade will encourage healthy and active living while also putting a few extra tourism dollars into the local economy.
It's been over 10 years since the bike lane was last upgraded. Council says its poor condition now deterring cyclists from using it due to safety reasons.
The surface is not smooth, so it makes it difficult for riding bikes. We know that we need to clear some vegetation along the edge, and that the edges have been crumbling, and so in order to make a safe surface, it does need to be upgraded.
It's set to cost around $370,000. Council's hoping to reduce that cost by applying for funding through the State Bicycle Fund.
To make an application, you need to have incorporated the project cost in the previous year, and so because there wasn't any budget allocation for this year, we're unable to apply for this year's grants.
Barunga West Council is currently asking locals whether they want the upgrade included in the budget, which will mean it'll be able to apply for grant assistance.
To whether Council will include this project in its annual business plan and budget for next year.
The upgrade will begin at Curley Street in Port Broughton and connect to Fisherman's Bay.
Activities for visitors and to use it to attract tourists, and there's increasingly people are more active with bikes.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
After the break, a local footy club to receive a club room makeover to welcome more women into the sport. Details next. Port Augusta Mayor Sam Johnson's bid to become a state member of Parliament has failed. Results have been finalised for the Legislative Council. SA Best picked up just 2 seats in the state election, with Liberals and Labor picking up 4 each. The Greens secured 1. Mayor Johnson was third on the SA Best ticket. Whyalla identity Bernadette Abraham also missed out on a spot. The Liberals now hold a total of 9 seats in the chamber, the ALP 8, SA Best and the Greens with 2 each, followed by 1 with independent John Darley. The Port Augusta Rotary Club has announced it'll contribute funding towards a program helping reduce hair lice outbreaks in local schools. The Itchy Emu program aims to keep kids in the classroom through proactive lice treatment programs.
It's an issue plaguing young families everywhere, and it'll have you squirming and scratching at the thought of it.
We identify a lot of children are actually missing days or weeks off of school because they're actually having a head lice infestation.
Even in the modern age where a variety of treatment options are available, it seems many parents still aren't identifying lice in their children.
We know that one primary school has contacted us and they've had 60 children in one school term that have actually missed school through having head lice.
The effects of this prevalent issue has led Uniting Country SA to take its own course of action.
We are going to be opening a clinic called the Itchy Emu, which is a clinic to treat head lice.
They run the program and it's just starting to get off the ground, so we're helping them fund their one-off costs and then the consumables later out through the year.
Rotary is using money raised from the Pitchy Ritchie Marathon to help assist to the much-needed program.
We asked them all, is this a need for the community or is it a want for the community? And they clearly demonstrated to us that it's a need.
So the funding will actually help us set up the space to actually treat the children's hair. It's also providing us with the ongoing consumables.
It's hoping the program will be a proactive step towards containing a preventable problem.
The more support we can get, the more heads we can treat, the more kids we can keep in school.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
The Blyth Snowtown Football Club will be the first in the state to trial a new clubroom facility aimed at being more accommodating for female players. With women's footy taking off in the region, it's hoped it'll pave the way for younger girls interested in the sport.
This clubroom's set to have a state-of-the-art makeover, bringing in AFL standard change rooms, supporting women's footy.
5 change rooms for home and away and to host carnivals. There'll be wet areas for the caravan park, netball players, football players.
A transportable building, so one of the beauties of these is that they can be connected together to make larger spaces, but also can be easily moved.
The Blyth Snowtown Footy Club was successful in receiving the Office for Recreational Female Facility grant.
$400,000 grant that's coming from the Office and Rec and Sport. The second largest grant is through the SANFL. And then all the local entities have pledged money to take it up to a $500,000 project.
The club is the first in SA to trial this new type of facility, and if it's proven a success, it'll be rolled out across the state.
To be rolled out at a national level, and the SANFL have really got on board and they'll be using Snowtown as a pilot for the rest of Australia.
It's hoped the new facility will encourage other women to take up the sport.
It's a great opportunity for females in the region. There are a couple of female teams in the district, but hopefully this will really open up the opportunity for more teams to get involved.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Budding musicians from across our region are being invited to apply for the Whyalla Recording Scholarship. Organisers say the program could be someone's first step in becoming a professional musician, and they want to start them off on the right note.
Alison Hams and Mark Tempney have been in the music business on all fronts for 20 years. They've had many highs and lows during that time, much of which came down to learning on the fly.
We learned by trial and error and our mistakes and our professional lives in the music industry for 25 years.
They're looking to give the next local star a good start to their career through the Whyalla Recording Scholarship. The second edition has expanded its reach, with artists from Cleve to the Flinders Ranges able to put their hand up. The successful applicant will get the chance to have their work turned into a piece of professional art.
We'll record their song, release a music video to go with it and launch it to the world.
Whyalla's Breeze Millard was the inaugural winner, with her track I Have My Own Life given the deluxe treatment.
Released her song, released her video clip and got it to number 8 on the Australian radio charts, got her single I Have My Own Life to number 5 in the UK.
For details on how to enter, head to our Facebook page. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break. The Salt Festival on the Lower EP spreads colour across Tumby Bay. The story next. Port Lincoln is ready to play host to some of the world's biggest names in jazz music and comedy for the Salt Festival. Music maestro James Morrison and international award-winning comedian Marcel Leconte are both set to perform tonight. Morrison and his quartet flew in today on his personal plane in between a very busy international tour. The world-class concert at 8 o'clock tonight will be at the Natauris Arts Centre, with tickets still available. The completion of the Tumby Bay Silo mural earlier this month didn't stop the town wanting to add more colour to the region. The Colour Tumby Street Art Festival over the weekend has already been dubbed a huge success, attracting hundreds of visitors from across the country.
You'd be forgiven for thinking the coastal town of Tumby Bay is the town of colour. An idea that started with the Silo mural and transformed into a street art festival has seen the humble community town transform into a hub of world-class art.
Yeah, we've got 8 of the best street artists certainly in the country, probably in the world, and here they are, it's all happening.
Melbourne-based Andrew Burke has been an artist for 20 years and he's been left impressed at how the community has embraced the culture.
Apart from bringing a little bit of extra life and colour to a town, which just creates good energy in general, if they can get a little bit of a tourism pull out of this, then, it just helps put a little country town like Tumby Bay on the map.
And the locals have nothing but praise for the transformation.
Colour Tumby has been absolutely amazing for our business. The last probably 3 weeks have been one of the busiest 3 weeks that we've had in business. We've been in business for 12 years now.
Our town has absolutely swelled in numbers this weekend and everybody is so happy, so positive, and it's awesome to see. It's such a positive movement, it's amazing.
Casey Treloar, Southern Cross News.
Well, this year's footy season is underway with the Spencer Golf kicking off its round 1 clashes on the weekend. Garth Burley joins us from Port Augusta, and Garth Souths are showing strong signs in the early part of the season.
That's right, Fraser. It was beautiful weather to mark the start of the footy season in the Spencer Golf, and all eyes were turned to the Augusta Derby to see how Souths, the reigning premiers, would fare up against a new-look West side. West made a promising start to the match, trailing by just 2 points at the end of the first quarter. But a shift in momentum from Souths had their opponents struggling for possession throughout the match, West only managing a single goal in the remaining 3 quarters. Souths forward Lionel Brown capitalised on his team's opportunities, kicking 6 goals. The reigning premiers making a strong stance as one of the tough teams to beat this season. In other matches, proprietary Risdon started off their season well with a 26-point win over Port, while in a tight contest between Central Augusta and Solly's saw Solly's come away with the win. In Whyalla, Rupina defeated Souths. Central Whyalla made easy work of Verona Bay, while in a low-scoring affair, West and North slugged it out, North scraping home with a 6-point victory. In round 3 of the York Peninsula Football League, Moonta continued its unbeaten start to the season with a win against Wallaroo. Central York defeated the Crows, and Ardrossan bounced back from a defeat last week to beat Butte. In the other match, the Eagles notched up a huge win against last year's premiers Kadina, who have now registered 3 straight losses to start the season. In the northern areas, Crystal Brook cruised through its round 1 encounter against Broughton Mundura. The Lions were no match for Jamestown Peterborough, and Southern Flinders put on a strong display against Orroroo, winning the match by 24 points. To the Great Flinders, where Lock upset the Cougars in a close win. The Ramblers Magpies weren't able to display the form of last year, going down to Tumby Bay, and United Yelena monstered Air United with a 148-point drubbing. So a number of interesting results, and we'll see if these results are any indicators for the rest of the footy season. I'll be back tomorrow with the rest of sport. Fraser?
Thanks, Garth. Garth Burley in Port Augusta there. We'll stay with us after the break. We'll have all the local weather with Amy Stevenson. And those warm weekend temperatures appear to have followed us into the start of the week, Amy.
They sure have, Fraser, with temperatures continuing to sit in the 30s as we kick off another week of school holidays. But we are going to see a change later this week, and I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Temperatures continued to sit in the 30s around most centres today. Port Augusta, Broken Hill and Whyalla sat in the low to mid 30s, while Port Lincoln was slightly cooler, reaching a top of 28. Taking a look at the satellite now, and despite thick cloud over the west, it won't be bringing any rain just yet. Clear conditions in the north and east under a high pressure system passing over the state. For those heading out on the waters tomorrow, expect westerly winds up to 15 knots, seas will reach 1 metre and the sun will rise at 6:47 while sunset will be at 5:48. Just before we take a look at tomorrow's conditions, thank you to Anne-Marie who sent in this beautiful picture during her morning walk in Port Augusta. And remember, if you have a weather snap, we'd love to see it, and you can email it to localnews@sca.com.au. Now checking on tomorrow's conditions, and it is going to stay relatively warm. Port Augusta will see a top of 31, as will Broken Hill and Corn. However, maximums will sit in the mid to high 20s in all other districts. Looking ahead for the rest of the week, and temperatures will drop to the low 20s in Port Lincoln. Possible showers in Cleve and Woodnar that will clear by Anzac Day, with maximums in the 20s. A chance of light showers also in Whyalla, however they are going to clear by midweek. Port Augusta can expect a mostly sunny 27 on Wednesday, while Kadina will be a few degrees cooler for the rest of the week. Sunny days forecast in Port Pirie into the weekend, and a top of 24 on Friday. Temperatures will be cooler in Clare after possible showers early this week. Meanwhile, even Broken Hill will see some relief from those summer-like temperatures, reaching 22 on Thursday. So Fraser, the region is going to have another hit of cooler autumn temperatures. However, the sun looks to be sticking around for the rest of the week.
Great weather to enjoy the final week of school holidays. Thanks, Amy. And that's the local news this Monday. Thank you for your company. I'll have some updates a little later on. Until then, though, enjoy your evening. Good night.